Hey guys, Nick with Sync Logistics Training here. I've been putting out these really short videos that are kind of just excerpts from some of our longer courses, and they hit on some topics that have just been particularly popular or useful with our customers. Today, we're going to talk about this concept of setting expectations with carriers. And to kind of illustrate what that means, I'm just going to go through a quick example to start things off. So say it's Monday. You book a carrier on a load, and that load picks up on Tuesday. The shipper is between 8 and 5, first come, first serve, and this carrier plans on picking it up late morning. This should be a super easy pickup that's probably hard to mess up. However, you forget to tell this carrier one important thing. You forget to tell the carrier that your company has a policy that if a carrier doesn't provide driver information by 10 o'clock the day of pick, you need to find a new carrier. We can nitpick this policy, but suffice to say, these policies do exist, and let's just kind of go with it for this example. Like 9 times out of 10, you're probably fine if you forget to tell the carrier, but this is going to be that one time. So Tuesday rolls around, 7 o'clock in the morning. You reach out to this carrier for driver information, but your contact is out of the office until 11 o'clock for some sort of an appointment, and nobody else at the office can give you driver info. Sounds ridiculous, but we know this happens. 10 o'clock rolls around. Per your company policy, you bounce the truck and you find a new one and assign it to the load. 11 o'clock rolls around. The original dispatcher comes back to the office. Believe it or not, they are pissed that you bounced their truck. And now you have an argument on your hands, right? This carrier clearly thinks that you're a scumbag for bouncing their truck too early. And you, the broker, I mean, you're mad at the carrier for not having anyone available before 11 o'clock in the morning to answer a question. And the question then becomes, well, who's at fault here? The bad news I have for you is that the broker is almost certainly at fault. Does the carrier have some responsibility? Sure, right? Like they're a business, they should be able to answer questions before 11 o'clock in the morning. But more importantly, the broker failed to convey information that the carrier needed to know in order to service the load. And from there, you can't fault a carrier for failing to meet expectations they didn't know about. If you had told this carrier about your company policy, who knows? They might have just given you driver information while they were on the phone with you on Monday, and you could have avoided this whole problem. But the problem is you don't know because you didn't give the carrier information they needed to service your freight. And unfortunately, this comes up a lot in brokerage. Just think about some of the arguments that you get into with carriers on a daily or weekly basis. Example one, you've got a carrier losing their mind because you're trying to charge them some sort of fees for a missed delivery. Well, if you think about it, did the carrier really know about those fees upon booking, or did you just kind of sneak them in the rate confirmation somewhere? Example two, you've got a carrier blowing up your phone at 2 o'clock in the morning because they can't pay a lumper. Again, was it really clear to the carrier that they'd have to be paying the lumper on their own at 2 o'clock in the morning? Or did you not tell the carrier that? Example three, you got a carrier arguing with you about detention fees, right? Maybe it's about the dollar amount. Maybe it's about whether or not they're actually owed detention. But think about it. Was the carrier actually told up front that you only pay X amount of money per hour for detention? Or do you need certain things for detention to be valid? How confident are you that the carrier was actually told all of these things? There are a million of other examples. And like, I personally have gotten frustrated with carriers tons of times for things just like this. I know plenty of other brokers who have done the same thing. But like if you actually think about some of the problems that pop up with carriers every day, like really objectively think about them. I'm willing to bet that most of them come up because you, the broker, didn't properly set expectations with the carrier up front. And here, if I'm just going to summarize the last couple of minutes, the gist of it all is that taking the time to set expectations up front with carriers upon booking the load is going to lead to way fewer avoidable problems. So this ends up being a remarkably important thing to think about as you're kind of going through your day to day. As usual, if any of this was useful or interesting to you, we go into a lot more detail on this subject and plenty of others in our broker training. So for more information, feel free to check out our website or shoot me an email. I'd love to show you what we're building.